The UN chemical weapons inspector has turned over his team's report on last month's gas attack in Syria to Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. UN spokesman Martin Nezerki says Ban will brief a closed session of the Security Council on the contents of the report on Monday. He will also brief the UN General Assembly later that day. The inspection team, led by Swedish expert Åke Sällström, was mandated to report on whether chemical weapons were used in the August 21st attack in the Damascus suburbs. And if so, it should determine which chemical agents were used, but the team will not determine who's carried out the attack. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has held talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in occupied Jerusalem al-Quds. A recent U.S. deal with Russia on Syria's chemical weapons has been on top of the agenda.
We've been closely following and support your ongoing efforts to rid Syria of its chemical weapons. The Syrian regime must be stripped of all its chemical weapons.
Key elements of what we agreed to in Geneva. It is a framework, not a final agreement. It is a framework that must be put into effect by the United Nations now. But it is a framework that, with the Russian and U.S. agreement, it has the full ability to be able to, as the Prime Minister said, strip all of the chemical weapons from Syria.
Kerry says the threat of force still remains until Washington and its allies achieve their goal. That's removal of chemical weapons possessed by the Syrian government. The top American diplomat said he will have further meetings in the coming days to discuss Syria, including one with British Foreign Secretary William Hague. Kerry and Netanyahu also discussed negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians. The U.S. is pushing for talks after a 3-year halt.